Welcome to Armstrong Avenue, Armstrong's Electric Avenue.
Welcome to the Armstrong Avenue podcast, brought to you by the Independent Wrestling Network. Here's your hosts, Big Mike and Scott Armstrong. Welcome back to Armstrong Avenue podcast. I'm Big Mike, the host. I'm sitting here with Scott Armstrong. What's up, dude?
What's up, Big Mike? This is for our first 1 hour episode. We did our 30-minute hit it and get it prediction episode, and which was a lot of fun. And man, did it go by fast! So I'm looking forward to this one, man. The first 1 hour episode of 2023. So honored to be here. That's for sure. Happy to be here.
How's your week been?
Oh, it's been awesome, man. Pensacola. It's sunny and in the upper 60s. I think we're going to get a little rain this week, but after that, it goes right back to the sunny in the 60s. So heaven on earth, man. You know the deal. Heaven on earth.
What would you do if you woke up in Pensacola one morning, just a random morning, and there was snow on the ground? Would it be like a miracle, or would it just...
No, I would literally start looking for real estate in Clearwater, Florida. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. So, like, here they have a radio station that does, like, vote for the best beach in Florida. Well, hey, come on, man. The radio station's here in Pensacola. So, of course, you get mostly Pensacola. But always the neck and neck or runner-up or whatever is Clearwater. And so I was in Orlando for a while, and I rode over to Clearwater, and, man, the beach is... I mean, you can compare each beach and say, oh, I like this about this one and this about this one. Either way, there is white. The sand is as white as this banner back here behind me. I mean, it is snow sugar white and just beautiful beaches, beautiful area, beach community, and they're like twins. And so people always say, if you had to move from here, where would you go? And man, I've lived here since I was 19, so which was about 3 years ago. So I literally, I mean it's gorgeous. So either way, you know what I mean. But yeah, if there was snow here, dude. I mean, I remember one time my wife coming home from work and saying, "Oh my gosh, there's snow flurries," and that's really the only time that Hey, look, it gets cold. I ain't gonna lie. But it only gets cold for a couple of months out of every year, and then it goes back to what it is now. I mean, we're in mid-January, and it's in the 60s and sunshine. So, hey, man.
In a few weeks, you're going to be breaking out the swim trunks and be tan as all get out again.
Yes, that's exactly. Dude, we put a shed in the backyard a long time ago, and it's funny how I shift everything. And I literally just, Christmas – and we decorate the whole inside of the house, the outside of the house. And when Christmas over, we pack it back up. I move everything out of the shed and we put it to the very back. And all the summer, spring stuff stays in the front. And so my wife said the other day, are the beach chairs and everything easy access in case you're not home? I can get to them. And I started laughing and I said, yeah, girl, come on. You want me to carry that stuff to the car. Yeah, I know you don't want to. But anyway, yeah, look, I live in a seasonal touristy area. It's flip-flops and tank tops. I love it, man. I love it. I can't preach it enough to any of the listeners that if you want to take a quick vacation, I'm going to tell you, if you come March, April, May, heaven on earth. If you come September, October, beginning of November, heaven on earth. If you come end of May, June, July, August, very much sold out, hot, humid, and you deserve what you get.
and notice he said if you want a quick vacation, and he said all listeners. I don't know, Cambodia. If you're, it's not going to be quick.
That's right. We do have listeners in Cambodia. For you, you should stay a couple of weeks. But if anybody's in North Alabama or Georgia or Tennessee, where I listen to this, hey, come down here. I have one of our listeners, Mike, is Christy, which I've known for a long time. And Christy, big shout out. And I think her and her crew come down here and they go to Navarre, which is about 20 minutes from me. And it's the beach, Navarre Beach. And hotels are probably a little bit cheaper than Pensacola Beach and definitely a little bit cheaper than Destin or Panama City. But that whole coast is just, even the Alabama Gulf Shores is just sugar white sand and just beautiful area and sunshine and a lot of fun. So can't preach it enough. And no, nobody's paying me to say this.
I was about to say this whole first 5 minutes of this podcast became a straight commercial for Visit Pensacola Beach.
Yes, it has. And there's a website Visit Pensacola and I know the people and I've done a commercial with them, but I've never, I don't ask for anything. I love where I live. I came down here at 19 years old. I was in college in Georgia and I came down here. My dad and family was moving down here and they lived here and I came down and visited and I just went, man, why would anybody on earth live anywhere else? I need to live here. And then, my wife, who was a Navy brat, her dad was in the Navy, and he got stationed here in Pensacola at the Naval Air Station, and we ended up meeting, and man, and here in about another less than 2 weeks, we will have been married for 36 years, and we met down here. So it's crazy how much this area means to me, and I was not born here, and I was not raised here, but it's crazy how much it means to me. I love it. So. Can't preach it enough to anybody listening. Come visit. The seafood's awesome too.
and if the people from Visit Pensacola, the website, if you're listening, this is the first 5 minutes of the show was dedicated to you. That'll be
Mike. When you plug it,
I'll bill you.
Yeah, when you plug it on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, they hit them up and tag them and let them know that they're at Visit Pensacola. Let them know. Scott Armstrong's your boy.
As long as I've known you, I still haven't made it to Pensacola, and it's a shame.
I know. I can't believe it. I'm sure that's going to happen in 2023.
It's my prediction. I know last episode was prediction, but I predict my wife and I are making a trip to Pensacola in 2023.
Yes, you better bring them babies too. They play in the.
Oh man, yes, that's going to be a lot of fun. But into the wrestling world, the hot topic right now in pro wrestling. Vince McMahon has made his abrupt return to the WWE as chairman of the board. He's brought along two other people, and I can't remember their names or pronounce their names. That's not on me. Yeah, it's not on. It's not me. It's just I just don't. I can't. But Scott, what are your thoughts on that? What do you have to say about that?
So the two people that he brought on board were major players with him for a long time in this company. And then they were released or moved on, or I don't know what the word is for it. Or maybe they were corporately restructured. And I do know something about that. But anyway, they were gone for a while. And so then when all the allegations and everything involving Vince came about, they already were gone from the company. And so now that Vince has come back, look, I'm not there, so I don't know any details. And I know people go, oh, come on, your brother works for WWE, you know. Well, the relationship my brother and I have are, I don't ask him. He's working a job. It's just not a job that he or I have ever done, the job that he has now. Even though we've been in the wrestling business, the job he has now is a part of that business, but not a part that he or I have done before. So I don't pretend to know the details of his job, but at the same time, I don't know if his job would open him up to knowing all the details of why Vince has come back. So I try to keep my brother and I keep our relationship with as brothers. And pictures of the kids and, how's the family doing? And, when can we get together? I know this week my grandson has a birthday, and I know we're all going to get together. My daughter has rented out Chuck E. Cheese on Saturday morning, and we're all going to go and meet there, and it'll just be my entire family in Chuck E. Cheese. And I'm so looking forward to that, man. And I told her, I said, look, that's got to be expensive. And she goes, yeah, Dad, it is. Feel free to pitch in if you want to. And I said, hey, I'm the dude that got released. I don't have a job. I'm looking for a job. So any listeners, please let me know if you have a job for me. But anyway, I know I'll see my brother then, and I'm sure we'll probably talk about it. But as of the airing of this podcast, I just don't know the details. Now, my personal thoughts on it. Look, Vince McMahon bought WWE or WWF at the time from his father. I know because I've heard it from the boss's mouth that his father had said, if I'd known you were going to turn it into what it's turned into, I would have never sold it to you. And his father always kept it legit, and as legit as you could keep professional wrestling. And Vince bought it and then immediately came out and said, no, we're sports entertainment. These are characters. Our show is scripted. And that's something his father never did. Nobody in wrestling ever did. Vince was like the first to ever do it. And as soon as he did it, business took off and just went through the roof all the way until now, where WWE is, on paper worth $6 billion. Now, Mike, $6 billion, not 6 million, not 60 million, not 600 million, $6 billion a wrestling company is worth. And so, for me, knowing, because I worked directly under Vince McMahon for a long time, as far as the wrestling part of it went, Vince is the kind of man that's just not gonna wait a minute. That's mine, and I built it, and I'm gonna be a part of whether it goes forward or whether it doesn't. And look, the rumor mill says he's gonna sell it, and he's getting it ready for the sale. And all that I know because I read it on Twitter, so it has to be true, right?
The sports columnist says
right.
It's true.
I mean, all the people with all the dirt sheets, the websites, the journalists, the whatever, they all have an opinion. Well, you know what? Everybody has an opinion. The reality is, Vince McMahon built this company. He molded it to what he wanted it to be. He had an exit for a little bit, and now he's back. I think from reading what he is quoted as saying is he's back just to oversee the details of a possible sale or TV rights, and he would not be getting involved in the day-to-day. Look, at the end of the day, his daughter is Stephanie McMahon. His son-in-law is Triple H. Do I think they're involved? Do I think they haven't gone to Vince a time or two and said, hey, what do you think about this? Yeah, I think they might have, because that's family. You know what I mean? You ask your dad, hey, Dad, what do you think of this? Or, hey, or Triple H. Paul probably says to him, hey, Vince, what do you think of this? You know what I mean? To me, you'd be crazy not to, because you don't know how many times. Look, I was a producer for WWE for 6 or 7 years, and you don't know how many times that in my mind I thought, oh, this idea of mine is perfect. It's the best idea there could be for this storyline or this angle or whatever. And then I go to him and he goes, yeah, but what if you did this? And I just took a step back and said, my God, man, this guy is brilliant. He gets it. And even today, like a week ago, a guy came to me and said, hey, how was it working for Vince McMahon? And I tell everybody the same thing. He is a shark in the business ocean. And if you want to work for somebody, you don't want to work for the little minnow You don't want to work for that guy. You want to work for the shark. And I learned so much from that man. I can't tell you. I mean, look, I don't know what he does in his private life. So if he did what he did, then that's something I know nothing about. I just know that business wise, I learned a lot from that man, and he is a brilliant man, and he surrounded himself with brilliant people. And so, if he came back to sell the company, I get it. I mean, if that's what he's doing, I totally understand it.
Yeah.
Look, what I'm mad most about is that I personally did not invest in stocks.
Yeah.
When they first came out, I could have got him at $13 a share. The minute he said I'm coming back and coming on board, it was at $83 a share. I mean, dude, if I'd have bought 50 shares, I'd have a bunch of money. You know what I mean? And I didn't do it only because it's just entertainment. You don't know what people are going to buy and what they're not. And so I didn't do it. And man, I'm mad at myself about that, dude. That's a fact.
Yeah, I know. I seen the shares were going up after he announced he was coming back. They went up,
Yeah.
like 6% or something.
Yeah,
Or maybe it was more than that. If you know, correct me. But that's a huge deal, you know.
It
But
is.
I know from what I was reading, they said that there might be if they're getting ready for. I also read this on Twitter, so like we know,
It's all true.
It's all true.
All true.
That the word in the locker room is that everybody's kind of nervous if they're going to sell with him being back. Are there going to be cuts again, like what happened? You know, contractual restructuring or however that went.
Yeah.
Are they going to be releasing people again? And for me, I know that would have me on the edge of my seat if I had a job and that was how I provided for my family. And now he's back. The talk is they're going to sell. The word is, hey, there might be some people getting cut because the less the budget is, the more the company's worth.
Right. I mean, that's true. And you're right, Mike. Look, at the end of the day, you got to think about it this way. If let's just say Disney buys it, just to throw it out there. I have no idea. I know nothing about it, but let's just say that the Disney Corporation buys WWE. What do they know about professional wrestling? What do they know about the day-to-day of running a wrestling company?
Yeah.
Well, nothing. So you have to keep on, you have to keep a crew on that, number one, tried and true is drawing money and is doing great television. So you have to keep those people on. Now, do you need new cameramen, or can you use the ones you use for Disney shows? Well, they'll try to use the one they're already contracted to, I'm sure. So some behind the scenes people may lose a job, but not everybody. And some of the wrestlers might lose a job, but not everybody. And it just makes sense. Look, when this has been a long time ago, so a lot of people listening might not even remember this, but when Continental sold to David Woods, he was a television guy. He owned television stations. And so when Ron Fuller sold the company to David Woods, he kept like 3/4 of the crew. I mean, he kept the same people that film the TV because those people know wrestling. And if you go, oh, well, I'm going to take all my guys and bring in new guys. Well, the audience sitting at home, the viewer on Monday night and Friday night are going to go, well, I don't know these people, and I'm not sure if I want to know them.
Yeah.
And viewership will go down, 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 down. So, look, I don't care who buys it. If they get rid of everybody, they're going to lose every dime they invest in it. And that's just the truth. Because with Continental, within a year, it was done. Because they just, people that some people think they know better than the people that are actually behind the scenes in the wrestling business. And they might know better about some things, but I promise you, the people that are behind the scenes in pro wrestling, they know better. And you have to give them their props. And if you don't, hey, what comes, and you just got to eat the Snabbits sandwich, so to speak.
Yeah. And to give the props to another company. We got to give props to Bones Coffee for
Oh,
keeping me caffeinated
yes.
every night that I have night classes now. I have to take my Bones Coffee with me to class from 6 to 10 to keep me awake on the ride home, and then to keep me caffeinated and hydrated throughout the day so that I can sit here and do the podcast with my good friend Scott. Bones Coffee, the top of the line, pure coffee, got amazing flavors. If you're wanting to try one, Electric Unicorn, always the best go-to option. Nothing
Hey,
else works for me.
and always 15% off with code Armstrong.
Up here at the
So,
top, if you're watching.
yep. So don't forget, use that code, save 15%. It's awesome coffee. It really is. My wife is so addicted to the s'mores.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And definitely a fantastic aroma all over the house. But anyway, yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. And thank you, Bones, for always being with us, or since the beginning. That's a
And
real, man. So it's such a positive for us, and we appreciate the loyalty, and we have loyalty to your brand.
yep. And if you, our loyal listeners, would like to purchase a signed picture, autograph, any kind of, anything that Scott might have, you can DM me on Twitter at Big Mike the host, and we're going to be able to get you guys autographs from Scott Armstrong. If you would like an autograph photo of the Armstrong Avenue cartoon picture that we have, that I think everybody, I've had so many people ask me to put it on a shirt.
So you know what's odd is I had people ask me about this banner and say, "Hey, is there any way I can get that banner?" And the funny thing is, yes, you can. So again, just DM Big Mike, or DM me on Twitter at WWE Armstrong or at Big Mike the host. Again, I have family 8x10s. I have all the Gaga. So the merch, the Armstrong merch, is ready to rock. So hit us up, DM on Twitter at WWE Armstrong, at Big Mike the host, and we will get you taken care of.
We'll get you taken care of, get you a nice autograph. I might even autograph something we don't know. I'm getting to that point. I'm getting a lot of fans myself. We'll see.
You've been sitting there practicing your autograph for hours.
Dude, my wife wouldn't let me autograph nothing. She says I got the literature writing of a doctor. It's horrible. You're gonna get 2 M's and that's it.
That's so funny. That is funny.
I couldn't be famous. I couldn't.
Sure,
I'm famous
you could.
in my own head.
You are famous, dude. You're Big Mike the host. Come on, man.
Hey, man, everybody loves me. Follow me at Big Mike the host. I'm trying to get my views up and my follows up. Hey, Scott, did you see Mandy Rose? She got released from NXT, was the champion, had a historic reign. We talked about that. Tamron Hall has the show. I don't know what it's called. I don't even know who she is, but Mandy Rose went on her show and spoke with her about her release from WWE. Did you catch that?
I did. My son had told me that that was going to happen, and he, did the whatever you kids do today. He taped it or DVR'd it or whatever. He recorded it. Maybe I should say that. And so, and I was able to go back and watch it. And look, Mandy is a friend of mine. I've known her for a long time. I mean, since she started in the business, and so. She is a sweetheart of a girl. I personally have not talked to her since her release, but like with NXT, I was with NXT for 15 or 16 months, a year and almost a half, and so look, as we've talked about on this podcast, I'm a candy guy. I'm a snack guy, and I would bring candy to every NXT taping, and she would always come by and snag some, her and the whole Toxic Attraction team. And so, and her fiance, Tino Sabatelli, I know him. The funny thing is, I met each of them at different times and got to know them separately. And then they ended up, now they're engaged. And so, but both great people, get along great with both of them. They're very respectful, and so the Tamron Hall thing, I did see Mandy say that WWE was upset with her about. I guess they felt it was against the contract that she had signed, that she did some risque stuff on a OnlyFans or something, another channel. And then when she explained it, she said there was no nudity and there was covered stuff covered up, body parts covered up, so it was left to the imagination. Uh, Look, I didn't see any of that. My wife wouldn't let me, and but but I'm just kidding, man. And, Sabby, if you're listening, I apologize for that comment. I did not mean that. I was I was everybody's dad at NXT. I was their dad or their grandfathers or whatever. But I was never that. Look, man, I dig my wife. I still do. I think she's gorgeous. So if that's the way you feel about your loved one, why? Why try to dip your toe anywhere else? And so that's just the way I feel, and that's the way I was. Is she a gorgeous girl? Yeah, she is. She's gorgeous, but I don't know the details, Mike, as contractually what it said in her contract. If they came to her and said, "Hey, you got to stop doing it," I feel like she would have stopped doing it. I do know that I watched Tamron Hall ask Mandy, if they asked you to come back, would you do it? And she said, well, there would have to be a talk. Well, here's the kicker. On Tamron Hall, she said she had made $1 million after she was released, $1 million in 2.5 weeks. So the reality is wrestling is an addiction. I love it. I'm an old dude and I still want to do it. I do still want to be a part of, WWE or a major company. I do still want to be a part of it because I'm addicted. It's you get in there, and Mandy, she didn't say no, and she just made $1 million in 2.5 weeks, but she still didn't say no. I wouldn't go back. She didn't say that, and it's because of the addiction of wrestling and getting in the ring and feeling that, because there's no price on the rush of being in the ring and hearing a crowd losing their mind. It's an addiction. And so when Tamron asked her that, I'm in my heart of hearts, I thought, she's not going to say no. And she did not. She didn't say no. So, well, there'd have to be some conversation. Well, she's saying, I'd do it. I just need a little more money. That's all she's saying. But she is not saying no. And look, that's that's what most of the wrestlers, that's how they feel. It is an addiction. I've said it on this podcast before, you will drive for hours. You will fly multiple flights. You will deal with rent-a-cars. You will deal with hotel rooms. You'll deal with weeks on the road away from your family and loved ones, all for 8 minutes in the ring in front of a heck of a crowd. And it's just what we do, man. And you either love it or you don't love it. And listening to that interview with Tamron Hall, I could tell Mandy loves it. She still loves it. And she still wants to be here or involved, or you know what I mean? Maybe I should see about getting her on here, Big Mike.
And, hey, if you can make that phone call, I'm all about it.
You know what? I should make that phone call, and that should be our next episode. I'll get with you after this, and let's just see if we can line it up. And I'll tell her, I'm going to give you a huge payday. Just talk to Big Mike. He's going to make it happen.
And then I will direct her to the correct people.
Yes.
I'd have to sell my Ric Flair, my prize back here. I don't know if people have noticed this, but I have a prize that I have acquired.
Yes, you do.
It's my Southeastern Championship Wrestling from, where is that? Foster Auditorium in Tuscaloosa.
Wow.
Ric Flair versus Charlie Cook.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Charlie Cook was a star back in the day, man, in this territory.
I'd have to sell that just to get her on this podcast.
Wow.
I don't know if I could do it, But hey, if she wants to come on here, we're good with it.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I'll have to look and see if I can find her number, or Tino's and get him to talk her into it.
Yeah, yeah,
or get him on here and have him tell us all the secrets.
Yeah, we could do that too. Hey, I'm open. I'm game. Speaking of former NXT superstars who've been released, Main Event Wrestling, who you work for, I work for, they just released last week that they're going to have a huge debut at their Dothan show in Alabama, February 25th. Former NXT Tag Team Champion, former Impact superstar, Zachary Wentz, formerly known as Nash Carter. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, when you had called me and told me that you had just signed him for the show, look, when I tell you, I was there. I was there when he got hired. I was there when they were on their run as he and Wes as MSK. I actually have the T-shirt that says MSK, which I guess now is a collector's item. And so, but great guy, hard worker. I feel like he was released. I feel like he was a victim of circumstance beyond his control. I don't know the details, so I don't want to get, well, Scott, I don't need all that in my life. I just don't know the details. I can only tell you how he was to me. Treated me with total respect, treated me like one of the boys, yet respected me as an authority figure because I was an authority figure with NXT at the time, and was just golden, man. I mean, just a good dude. And look, at the end of the day, can the guy climb through the ropes and tear the house down? Yes, he can. Unbelievable in the ring. And so for MEW to make that kind of acquisition, you just go, wow, man, look, I know he ain't cheap. I know they had to pay a little money. Do I think he's worth it in the long run? Yes, I do. He is a talented guy. It's a bonus to have him on any show, live event, TV show. It's a bonus to have him. So, yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's huge for Main Event Wrestling to have him involved, and I'm glad I'm going to be there to get to see him again and hug his neck.
Yeah, it's an exciting moment. I know that really was one of our I'd say Main Event Wrestling's biggest match, or not really match announcement, but debut announcements we've had in a while. That one, and they announced that Camille is going to be there, and she's going to. Yeah, that's another huge one. NWA Women's Champion will be there. Gosh, but that's Dothan, Alabama, guys. If you are in Alabama, if you're in Georgia, if you're in Tennessee, Northwest Florida, make the trip to Dothan, February 25th. Main Event Wrestling is bringing a action-packed card. We've got superstars from, 3 different countries on that card. Tom Latimer's from overseas in England. We've got KZ and Big Boss Shimizu are making their debut from across the pond from Japan. Dragon Gate Pro Wrestling from Japan's tag team champions, the Open the Twin Gate champions, are coming to MEW February 25th in Dothan.
Yeah, that's dude. That's just crazy. I mean, to be able for look, people, wrestling fans go, oh yeah, they're just an independent company. Well, if MEW is just an independent company, open your eyes. You got the tag champs from Dragon Gate. You got Tom Latimer. You've got Camille Brickhouse, the NWA Women's Champion. I mean, you got Zachary Wentz, formerly Nash Carter. You've got who else is on that card? Because there's a couple other people.
Lady Frost is coming in.
Lady Frost,
former Impact.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the show is unbelievable, and MEW has put out a lot of money to have one of the biggest shows in Dothan since back in the Continental days, and so. I'm proud to. I'm going to be a part of it, and I'm proud to be there and to be able to see all these people. I mean, it's nuts. To be able to. And I haven't seen Lady Frost in a long time since WWE days because she worked with WWE a lot, and so And her husband, what's his wrestling name? Or is
Victor Benjamin.
yeah,
Yeah.
is that her husband or her boyfriend?
Yes, that's her husband.
That's her
Yeah.
husband. And
The
so
savage gentleman. Yeah.
yes, and so and I've talked to him a few times as far as social media and that kind of thing. So, but I've never met him face to face. So it'll be awesome to meet him for the first time for me. But we just want everybody listening. That's February 25th. You got a lot of time to get your ducks in a row and make your plans to come out and see.
And
I mean,
tickets are on sale.
yeah,
right now.
arguably some of the best talent on the independent scene today. And so it's going to be a heck of a show, and very thankful to the IWN, the wrestling app, who puts out a lot of money too for this organization and to make things happen. And so just really all a positive in 2023 and a huge step. Griffin, Georgia on January 28th. And then Dothan, Alabama on February 25th. And man, I'm so thankful I get to be a part of both of them.
Yeah. And we can't leave out January 28th. We've
No.
got, I mean, that show, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Over 4 new stars making their debut for
Yeah,
MEW.
that's gonna be awesome.
I mean, Lady Frost, this is her first, and Victor Benjamin are going to be there, as well as former NXT superstar, current indie sensation, works with New Japan, GCW, all over the world, well traveled, and who formerly known as Trey Baxter, Blake Christian. He's going to be making his debut, and the most well traveled superstar in the world, formerly known as the Son of Havoc for anybody who watched Lucha Underground. Matt Cross, he's going to be there, and this is just what MEW is doing, and it's being noticed. People are at news articles. People are saying we're stepping away from the pack, and the management has really taken MEW and took it from when you and I first met and started with, and the growth over the last 6 to 7 months, man. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but is incredible. It's incredible to see.
So look, MEW went from in my opinion, went from an organization saying, yeah, we're going to have a wrestling show. And they just kind of threw it together and had one. And now with the app has gone, full stream, it's crazy because at the end of 2022, all of a sudden the phone calls started. I started getting phone calls from talent that were not signed to a major organization saying, hey, who are these guys? Are they legit? Is there any money there? Look, let's be real. Wrestlers don't call to go, hey, I just want to be a wrestler. They call to say, I want to do my job. I want to do it well, and I want to be paid for it. And so, once I started saying, yeah, this is legit. This is the real deal. And then they would say, well, who do I need to contact? And so, then the ball's out. Look, they call me and ask my opinion. I give them my opinion. And whether they end up on the show or not, that's not up to me. That's up to somebody else. And then, so to get the phone call of, hey, man, we just signed Zachary Wentz. Hey, man, we just signed Blake. We just signed Lady Frost. When those kind of phone calls come back to me, I just start looking at that going, man, 2023 is going to be huge. And it already is. I mean, it's like you were saying, January 28th in Griffin, Georgia. Look, Griffin's how far out of Atlanta? 30 minutes? Is it
with traffic, 45.
So from a major city in the United States, 45 minutes, southeast is Griffin, Georgia. And already before the end of 2022, we had to change venues because of the request for tickets. So the original building wasn't going to be big enough. And so when you start hearing things like that, at the end of the year, you're having to get a bigger building. You're signing bigger talent. The app is kicking off, and you look at all that and go, wow, man, this isn't just a thrown together indie show. This is big. And so, look, I'm looking forward to the show, and I know there's There's a crew coming that's going to film it all, and
GPW, GoPro Wrestling Productions. Yeah.
yeah, and I think those are the people. If I'm right, it's the same people that filmed the Ric Flair's final match,
Yes.
and so to have those guys on board to do both of these next two shows and all the shows going forward, from what I understand, is that right?
From what I've been told, yes, sir.
So I know they did a great job, and man, these, everything in life, in my opinion, should be baby steps. These are not baby steps. These are huge steps. Huge talent signings. A great company to sign with us to do the TV show or do all the filming, and the big talent. I mean, dude, it's all positive, man. Hey, no negativity in 2023.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
there you go. It's all positive.
Yep. Tickets are on sale now if you are in the Atlanta area, or if you just want to make the trip. I know I've got friends of mine who are coming from Nashville, Tennessee to see us in Griffin and Dothan. Tickets are on sale for both shows. You can go to eventbrite.com. First one is mewgriffin.eventbrite.com. That is for January 28th. Come see Matt Cross, Lady Frost, Blake Christian, all their debuts. It's going to be a great show. And if you want to come February 25th, I'm telling you, this is one you don't want to miss in Dothan, Alabama. We're going to have the first ever Bullet Bob Armstrong Memorial Battle Royal. You guys don't want to miss this event. It's going to be really something special. It's something that we have really been working hard on. Your ticket price includes early admission to get into the pre-show meet and greet with all the superstars, including Dr. Tom Pritchard, Scott Armstrong, Rip Rogers, Mike Jackson, Chick Donovan, Camille, Tom Latimer. The list goes on. Get in there. Get your tickets. Front row we still got front row. So get them. MEW championshipcarnage.eventbrite.com.
So guys, please, get on those tickets. They're not going to be around. The front row will be gone after this podcast. Once people hear there's front row left, They'll be gone after that. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great to see all that talent. Look, I hadn't seen Rip Rogers in years. Dr. Tom, I've seen a couple of times, and love that dude. So Rip Rogers is a blast from the past, and the people in Southeastern definitely will. The people that are a little bit older, the 20-year-olds won't have a clue who he is. The 40+ will love to see him again.
Yep, it's going to be fun.
Maybe they can come and bring their kids.
It's going to be at the crossing at Big Creek at the casino, the Bingo Casino.
I don't think you can say casino.
Oh, I can't?
Not in Alabama.
Oh,
but
it's a bingo hall, but not a bingo hall. 10,000 square feet of slots.
It's slots, and I don't know how it has to be worded just right, and I don't know how that works. But either way, they're going to get $50 of my money.
I lost $5 my first time there, and I was like, I ain't doing this again.
Yeah.
I'm making money, not losing it.
I lost a little more than that the first time. But please don't tell my wife.
Hey, so you're safe with me. But yes, please come out, Dothan, Alabama. It's going to be something special. I'm looking forward to it. I know Scott's looking forward to it, to be back in Dothan and to bring to bring professional wrestling back to the heart of what was Continental and Southeastern has really been Ultimate Wrestling's goal ever since, we planned this. And we're excited. We can't wait. Be there. Ticket link will be in the bio. Moving on to everybody's favorite section, time period, whatever you want to call it. This is hashtag Ask Scott. If you want to get your questions asked by the legend himself, Scott Armstrong, go to the Facebook group. It's Armstrong Avenue Podcast Fans, and hit that hashtag Ask Scott question. I'm going to ask Scott some questions. Right off the rip, Scott, we're going to ask you, hashtag Ask Scott. With the Royal Rumble coming up, this question come from my buddy Steve. He actually DM'd me. He didn't ask it. With the Royal Rumble coming up, what was it like to be in that environment, in the Rumble? 90 seconds, you got 10 seconds left, and it's, 5, 4, the crowd's chanting. You don't know who's coming out. and then it's somebody's debut that you haven't seen in maybe 20 years or 10 years or maybe 9 months. Maybe they've been on the shelf, like John Cena coming back in '08, to a huge pop. And, what is that like? What is that environment like?
So I was actually one of the referees on the floor in 2008 when Cena did come back. And to and look, if I'm right, he was the last. He was number 30.
He was number 30, yes.
And so he came out and look, standing on the floor, you got to think about this. An entire arena wrapped around a wrestling ring. The ring is in the middle. So all the people that are involved in the show are in the middle. I was a referee, so I was in the middle. I wasn't in the ring, but I was just outside the ring. So when you have 20,000 plus or whatever just lose their minds, all their voices are coming right to the center of the building. And I'm here to tell you, it was deafening. And it's a rush. And you feel, look, when I say you can tell who's over by saying that term, I'm talking about who the people love, respect, and can't get enough of. And dude, he was over. I mean, he was over anyway. He was John Cena. But the minute his music hit and he came out, oh my God, just crazy. And so for all the Royal Rumbles, you see people come out in their music, and sometimes the crowd goes, yeah, and then they die down, which means they're happy to see that person, but they're not totally invested in that person. And standing outside as a referee during those matches, because I did a few of them for sure, and you feel that, and you know as that talent is running towards the ring, they got a good pop. People are happy to see them, but people don't care if they get thrown out over the top before the last 6 people. They're not that invested. And look, you'd see that, but the coolest thing for me personally was Kofi Kingston. Anybody that's ever watched a Royal Rumble in the last 15 years, Kofi Kingston always brings his A game to the Royal Rumble. And what I mean by that is he has different ways that if he gets thrown out, his feet don't touch the floor. Because the only way you can be eliminated is if both feet touch the floor. And I've seen him, land on, I don't know, it's Big E, or land on Big E, and Big E carry him to the steps and him go back up the steps, but his feet did not hit the floor. I've seen him walk on his hands. He always tries to think of a way to not be eliminated. And every year there was always something different. And I never one time did I go to him and go, Kofi, what do you got in mind for tonight? I never did, because I didn't want to know. I wanted to be a fan, just like all the fans watching at home, and be amazed at what that dude could do or what he could think of and then execute. And man, it's just that's like one of my favorite things about the Royal Rumble. Look, I love the Royal Rumble. It's a lot of fun. As a referee, it's busy. You know what I mean? The whole Rumble's busy. You got a lot of people out there. But as a fan, oh my gosh, once I became a producer and to be able to sit backstage and watch it, man, just awesome. Now that I've been released, I'm looking forward to the Royal Rumble. So my son and I can sit in the living room and do what we do. Back in the day, anytime when I worked for WWE, if there was a pay-per-view and I was not booked on it, we order pizza and wings and have it delivered to the house. And that was our pay-per-view, pizza, wings, and the pay-per-view. Always, for my family, coming from wrestling, always a great time with my family to watch matches and see, just see stuff that we didn't know. I don't call and say, hey, what's going to happen here? I want to be a fan too. And so My family's really looking forward to this coming Royal Rumble. Be able to order pizza and wings and sit together and go, oh, look at that! Oh my God, you know what I mean? It's wrestling, man. It's what it's supposed to be, fun.
Yep.
And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yep. We'll have to watch it the next day because it's the same night as our show, January 28th.
Oh, how dare them run the same night?
I'm telling you, man, I should have called Vince or
Yeah,
Paul
well,
and
hey,
said, look, you guys are.
Then I can tell you right now that will be recorded at my house, and
Yep, mine too.
and we will still order pizza and wings because that's my favorite when it comes to big events.
Yes, for sure, most definitely. Next question. It is coming from Chris Wright on Facebook. He asked, Scott, how would you book Karrion Kross and Scarlett's return? Because what it seems like is that maybe whatever story they had has been kind of put to the side or thrown out, and they just feels kind of lost. They got lost back in the shuffle. What are your thoughts on that?
So look, I was around when Karrion Kross was first hired with NXT and brought on board, and I was there when they were creating his persona at NXT. I was there when they were creating his entrance at NXT. I say he and Scarlett because she's half of the package, and so for me personally, I loved that character, the two characters, and the smoke and his shaved head, and he just looked mean, and the kind of guy that look, if you're at the gas station and he yells at you, you just get in the car and leave. Now he looks like the guy that I want to say, yeah, hey, look, my taxes are due. Can you do them for me? And look, I love him, and he knows I'm messing with him if he's heard this. Look, Scarlett, I've known I don't even know how long, 10 years. I mean, when she first got in the business. And so, and now they're married, and she's a sweetheart, always been a sweetheart to me. He has too. That's the thing, is ever since I met him, just a good man. And so I'm happy for the both of them that they got, rehired and are doing well. But for me personally, and answering this question, I want to see him go back to the guy he was at NXT. I want to see his head shaved. I want to see the smoke and the entrance. And I mean, man, give me 5 minutes of his entrance and 4 minutes of him wrestling, and I'm good to go. I don't need a 30-minute match. I just need that, that Karrion Kross. I feel like that was, man, it was awesome. And it was the kind of stuff that wrestling television is made for. But hey, that's just me, brother. I'm not the powers that be. I'm just the guy that wishes he was.
Yep. Thanks for the great question, Chris.
Yeah, really good question, Chris. Thank you for asking it.
So on to the last one. This one was sent in unanimously. I don't know how you can do that.
You mean anonymously?
Anonymously or unanimously, anonymously. Look, these late night
those classes
are doing me in, man. They're doing me in. And then spending all day in a book. Anonymously. Scott, oh God, I'm not cutting this out. That was funny. Anonymously. Scott, last episode you guys gave your predictions for all the major companies: AEW, WWE, Impact, MEW, the new company you work for, Diamond Championship Wrestling. But you guys forgot one, NWA. Is there some heat between you and Billy Corgan?
No, not at all, man. Not at all. Listen, NWA, I apologize to you personally. You were not left out on purpose. We just didn't cover it. That's on us. I have great friends that work for NWA, and so look, I apologize, and now let's give the flowers to who we need to give flowers to. Camille Brickhouse, is she still their champion? Last I heard, she was. So look, I've watched her. I've watched her career. I actually, on an independent show probably 6-7 months ago, I refereed her championship match at the independent show. I was the referee. And so I've known her for a long time. And multiple WrestleManias ago, I met her for the very first time and have seen her a lot since then. And so she's doing great in her career and making a name for herself. I think their champion is Tyrus. Am I right about that?
Yes, the former Brodus Clay, Tyrus.
Yep.
Yes.
And look, Brodus Clay, he was a bodyguard for Snoop. He was Snoop Dogg's bodyguard for a long time, and got into wrestling and really made a name for himself. Had a good run with the Brodus Clay character with Trinity or Naomi was one of his dancers, and the two of them went on to be stars in wrestling, and now he's the champion for NWA. Look, I mean, any man that can get me backstage passes to Snoop Dogg concert with Wiz Khalifa, he's over with me, man. And I did it. I did it backstage for Wiz and Snoop, dude. I had a blast. But anyway, the old white guy that loves.
Was this while you worked with WWE?
Yes, and
I'm sure they did not do because the drug policy back then was a little bit different and not as lax as it is now. I'm sure they were like, Scott, now we know you were backstage with Wiz and Snoop. We're going to not test you today.
I did not inhale. I promise you, I did not inhale.
You walked around just not even breathing.
Yes, I walked around like this. Hey, Snoop. Hey, Wiz.
It's pre-COVID. You had a mask and 95, the whole nine.
Yes. And look, Brodus got the hookup. What can I say, man? But I really, that dude is a good man. He is a good man. I produced his matches. I never wrestled against him, but I did produce a lot of his matches. And he went on to do great things on what was it? Fox and Friends or CNBC?
Yeah, he's a Fox News correspondent.
Right, he's a brilliant dude. He really is. He's a brilliant man. And so, and now with NWA, he's their champion, and I can't say enough good about him. I mean, just when my father was alive, he treated my father like gold, man. And my dad spoke so highly of him. And anyway, just NWA, great. Look, Ricky and Kerry Morton are there, and I mean, just a lot of my friends. And so the most humble apology I can give to NWA, I apologize. That was the major company when I was young, and my dad and brother Brad, worked with them, and so I apologize, and I blame any negative from it, any of it. I blame it all on Big Mike.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. You're gonna blame it on me. So there's no heat between you and Billy Corgan. I know Billy's got heat with Nick Aldis right now. And
no, none whatsoever, man. Hey, look, I love wrestling. He's in the wrestling business. Let's all get along and do what we love. And anybody that's a viewer, they just benefit from it. That's how I feel. I love the business.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And you want to know what I love before we get out of here? I love collar and elbow T-shirts.
Me too, man.
Finest T-shirts on the planet. Collar and elbow. If you guys want to get it, we're still hashtag collar and elbow. Tag them. Tell them you want that hashtag Armstrong Avenue podcast T-shirt.
Yep.
Get your other collar and elbow shirts. Use code Armstrong for 10% off. That's 10% off your order. Code Armstrong. Hey,
yeah.
But I also love this podcast. Doing it with you, man. It's been a blast.
Hey, episode 1, full episode 1, not our 30-minute special, but full episode 1 is in the books. Thank you again to all the listeners, all the viewers, anybody that is a part of this. Thank you so much, Big Mike. Thank you for everything you do. I know I come on here and run my mouth, but I know you deal with a lot of the technical aspect of this podcast, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you to our regular listeners. Thank you to our new listeners, and I look forward to the next episode in 2023.
Yeah, yep. Episode, we're on 27. That'll be episode 28.
Crazy.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a fun ride. You guys follow us. I'm Big Mike, the host. That's at WWE Armstrong on Twitter. We're gonna get out of here. Peace.